Impact will make his way down here as Thanatos is trying to push the wave up. Impact will return the favor. It is 1 minute until Baron. We'll see if Team Liquid wants to try to force that down quick with their still established control over Summoner's Rift.
Some good gold value here in this outer tower that TL want to grab before transitioning over to the other side of the map. Should be pretty easy for APA to blow up.
Yeah, that was pretty easy.
Too hard. Yeah.
I don't think
sometimes you can miss, maybe throw backwards over your shoulder.
Yeah, just toss it in the basket. No worries.
He is 7-0-4 on this Ziggs. He just had a fully stacked bounty, but it just cut down because of the team values and how much Cloud9 have caught up in this game, I presume. Or actually, it's bouncing all over the place. Never mind.
A little crazy.
We won't keep track of those. But we do have York coming up mid lane right now for the 5-on-5. Baron's about to arrive, and so you want to be able to acquire mid lane presence first and then pull back into the fog of war, into the darkness here.
So much of this, I think, will come down to Poe, because Umpty tries to get away off to the side there. Thanatos tags him with the boomerang. C9, first control over the wave. They'll get theirs shoved up a little bit further, and that means that Team Liquid falls back just slightly. C9 first into the topside river, as Blabber is already starting up the Baron. C9 wasting no time on this one. Team Liquid is going to have to try to answer. Thanatos, most of the Narbar charge, he's going to need to pick his moment. He does not want to allow Team Liquid to play around it like they did in the C9 base, as Umpty and Yawn now stepping closer.
Alright, how do I read my
The Baron is still being focused by C9, but it is not dropping quickly. Impact going after Thanatos for the 1v1 off on the right, while the 4v4 in the river might just erupt as the Baron is already down to 3,000 HP. Making a full bomb! APA steals it away! He just doesn't miss this game as Blabber versus Umpty starting the fight. Vulcan has to flash away to try to escape as Team Liquid now trying to deal with Loki in the middle of everybody, but Loki has already killed off Core JJ. Yawn with a flash out, Sven with a flash follow. C9 has found the enemy AD carry, but Impact also killed Vulcan. C9 has only lost their support, and Impact dies to the rat-a-tat-tat of the machine gun blast as Blabber chases after Umpty. Team Liquid may have stolen the Baron, but everything else in the fight is all C9!
The only one that will be left alive once Umpty gets chased down here is going to be APA. He preserves Deathless on the Ziggs, but the entire rest of the team loses Baron buff. He is the lone holder of the TL Baron buff that he stole himself.
And the hard part here is that the Elder is going to be spawning, during this replay, so they can just go straight to the Elder. Look at this. Okay, 2K. Where did it get down to? 1,500, 300. Early smite. Early smite there. He tried to combo with the W, but the W was in the air. Would have done that extra damage, but the smite came down slightly early. But this is the follow-up. There's no way. He does it twice in a row. Yeah, okay. So it's very early. He has no vision. It is going to be Elder. It's Elder plus Soul now for C9. And Loki has completely changed his strategy. All these earlier fights that they're losing, he's going for Yawn. Back-to-back fights they have won. He focuses Core. It's all in on Core. You just kill off Emilio. It's way easier to do. Yawn used his Seekers. Well, now Seekers is nothing for you in this next fight. He doesn't have a Zonia's. That's kind of gold that is just dead in his inventory. And Sven is becoming really, really strong. It's just Loki's job. You kill Core. Sven, his job is kill everyone else.
And I love the fact that Loki made that pivot. He's not just ramming his head into the wall over and over again, typing IDK what to do, Lucian too tanky. He's finding solutions to solve these problems. And now C9 is feeling great. They've got this Elder buff for the next couple of minutes. They really want to try to force a fight with it if they can.
There has to be a way
and turn what should have been what looked like a Team Liquid victory into a Cloud9 reverse.
Thankfully, though, for Yawn, he was able to sell the Seekers. He got a full Bloodthirster, so he did have a lot of gold in pockets. So
I could probably do
He's true 6 items. APA 6 items here. And the carry's still very, very strong. It's going to come down to execution. And Core's got to find a way to both stay safe, himself, but also still stay close enough to Yawn that he can protect him if they're going to go for him.
And Cloud9 are spreading into the 1-3-1 with their Elder buff. They're bringing Blabber over now from the top side to close the loop.
Where's my character
push down the tower. Bottom side, Thanatos will be able to push in. As well versus Impact. Even though in the previous fight, Impact was able to actually push Thanatos away.
Big calling on Blabber. That's most of the bullets hitting again. Blabber down to 25% HP. Forced away from the tier 2 turret. Ocean Soul's going to heal him up, and Thanatos, all the meanwhile, was left alone in the bottom lane to remove that tier 2 from Summoner's Rift. There's less than a minute remaining on the Elder Dragon, so Team Liquid has done a good job avoiding a fight so far with that condition. However, C9 has forced down these objectives. They have retaken the gold lead alongside the objective advantages they have with things like the Ocean Soul.
I mean, I truly believe APA stealing the Baron there was game-saving, because if they had Baron stacked with the Elder, then you can't just clear the waves and avoid the fight. Then you're forced to fight into the Elder, which you're going to lose. So we'll see if C9
So I think I have a good idea of doing this.
Okay, Mega Inferno Bomb
I should probably print out the paper.
Jumps over the wall. C9 ready to force down the tier 2 turret, and they've already got it. Team Liquid scrambling on the defense to hold C9 at bay. Mid lane inhibitor down, and C9 falls back.
Just as the last remnants of the Elder are going to fall off. That was the must push wave for Cloud9. They do it, they get their objective, they even up the inhibitors here, opening up mid lane, taking that one down. Their mid lane inhibitor has respawned. We are getting banger after banger in LTA, man. We're already almost 45 minutes into this one. TL and Cloud9 at the top of the group, looking to go the distance. And look at that recovery from Cloud9. It was up to 6,896, the TL gold lead.
Yeah, a reminder, as we're watching Cloud9 own the Rift, force their way into the enemy base, make sure they take the inhibitor. Team Liquid was at the Nexus. They had a Nexus turret down. They were pushing straight for the win. It seemed all but guaranteed. And then the botched fight at the Nexus, the recovery of C9 through the focus on the Core JJ has turned everything around.
It really has, and I do like the build adaptation here from Umpty, you know, not just continuing to build kind of these more selfish items. He goes into Redemption, he goes into Locket. I think that's really smart. It's not about you at this point, it's about keeping your teammates alive.
Well, Dredgeline from Vulcan is immediately going to say it's all about Umpty as the Impale doesn't find anybody for the counterattack. C9 stepping out of the way up at the Redemption, keeping Umpty alive as Thanatos now has to make sure he doesn't get caught out by the Impact Cage. Team Liquid doesn't lose anybody. Cloud9 continuing to look for angles.
That was a clutch satchel charge from APA to stop Thanatos when he was looking for the flank to go for the engage. Bomb goes wide.
This picture.
Looks like TL will be okay
What
here
if I
for
press
now, but Cloud9 can't wait to
bigger?
bounce. This Baron is up in only 35 seconds, so we will get the reset. And the only huge cooldown was Umpty's flash and Vulcan's flash used in the previous engage.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're just going to see C9 do the same thing they did last time, though. When you have the Ocean Soul, you just go on Baron, you pull it, you force them to come into you because you're not really threatened by that passive damage. Good chunk on his Ven, though.
Yeah, Yawn really wanted to find C9's AD carry there with a little bit of damage. You can see that Loki looked for the angle, but he couldn't find any sort of a real meaningful counterattack. Yawn playing aggressively on this Lucian with the 6 items, knows that he can make the difference if he finds the right chance to go in. Swirl Seed from Blabber. Thanatos is zoned away from the rest of his team. C9's going to try to rush the Baron. Team Liquid is barreling down the mid lane, going after the C9 base. They have to get through an inhibitor, and then they have to go straight after the Nexus turrets. The Baron's going to get taken. Thanatos has to hold the line here. He's all alone. Team Liquid might just be going for the end of the game. Thanatos has to try to escape. The culling making its way into the C9 top laner, but it ain't going to do enough. Now Team Liquid is very far ahead, and everybody from C9 is already here.
Oh, wait.
Down.
Did they lose?
On the run. Yawn locked up as Blabber goes golden. A double kill back over to Loki. Umpty will be next to die. C9. They make the call to go for the Baron. Thanatos can hold on long
that's too
enough.
small
The
still.
Nexus turrets won't die fast enough, and Team Liquid is staring down at 2v5.
I need to make this picture a lot bigger. How can I make this picture
but he's
bigger?
got a hell of a job ahead of him.
Yeah, there's only 30 seconds on Elder Dragon, so even if they couldn't go straight for the base, they could get that. It's APA against the world right now. Cloud9 on the brink of another miraculous comeback game.
And C9 have the Baron this time. It wasn't stolen away. APA cannot just Mega Inferno Bomb the wave to save the game.
There's no way.
He has to find some kind of a crazy outplay here, but C9's got everybody. Thanatos with the Mega Gnar back into the Nexus. APA's first death will be the death of Team Liquid, and C9 in a come-from-behind victory take this series.
I can't believe they fucking took it.
Back-to-back weeks, Cloud9.
Oh my fucking god, Theo, come on.
Comebacks here last week against Lion, this week against TL. APA was smurfing on the Ziggs, but it just was not enough at the end of the day. Some big fights, some good adaptation in the game to change their focus towards Core JJ, to take him out, you know, wins in the fight, in the base, gets in the soul. That allows them to really start getting back into that game.
TL are going to be looking at that base push over and over this week in review. Cloud9, do not underestimate them when you're in their base, 2 inhibitors down. It doesn't
That's where they love
matter.
to be. That's their comfort zone for the C9 side. Finding these victories, finding these angles, finding these pivots in strategy like you guys are talking about, and it really is the difference maker. Team Liquid was looking so good for so long.
I thought we had game 3.
They had some beautiful team fights going on, but that one big mistake in the base, that's going to haunt them.
I also would really love to watch that final playback because they killed off the last Nexus tower. At that point in the game, when you have like 1,000 AP, they could have killed that Nexus.
The left one respawned. The left
in game, maybe it's just a spectator.
It doesn't show in spectator. It still glitches and shows.
It shot a shot. I saw it shoot.
But the Nexus didn't have a health bar.
Yeah, I didn't see it have a health bar, but in the spectator client in game, it didn't show another tower. So I was super confused as to what was happening there because I was like, 2-3 autos from Ziggs kills the Nexus there. That makes sense if it was just a spectator bug. If the tower's back, that explains it because I thought they were just going to right-click the Nexus and kill it. So the tower respawning. Yeah, I think that might have just saved the game.
Yeah, the tower respawn timer isn't that long because remember, the first tower died all the way back when Team Liquid had that initial botched fight that led to the C9 comeback. But hey, enough of hearing from us. Let's hear from the victorious team themselves. We're joining Jat at the fan zone for an interview.
Go fast.
I printed out the wrong thing. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, Liquor. They have no minions, guys. Don't die Thanatos, don't die Thanatos. Okay. Ziggs ult, guys. Scar ult. Look for fight. Lucian, flash. I'm running, I'm gonna chase anyone, chase anything. Scan ult, Ziggs. I'm ulting Lucian, Lucian is ulted. Don't flash. Lucian, don't play. Lucian's still up, Lucian 1 HP. I'm looking Milio, Careful, Ziggs. Scar. I got him. Push me. It's only 1 Ziggs. Can we go 2 lanes somehow? We have a lot of time. He can't kill us.
Yeah, we can. Okay, I'll start a free trial.
Just got to hear the comms of Team Liquid trying to kill your base while you're killing Baron. I mean, I'm also surprised to see you here after just 2 games with how that game was. But talk to me about the last moments of that game.
I mean, we thought they couldn't end without minions. We got the mid wave, right? And we were like, okay, we have position on Baron, so just go hit it and see what happens. Then someone said, I think they can end. And we're like, nah, no way, right? They can't take 2 towers with full HP, with no minions. And someone's like, I don't know, just hit Baron. At this point, we're too deep, right?
How does TL lose that? Come on, guys.
I think the game was over long before that, though.
Oh. It felt like you had the lead, but there were also moments where it looked like Team Liquid was just going to run over you guys. But last week, the same thing happened against Lions. So how have you pulled back-to-back series comebacks out of your hats?
We have a thing called Doctor Strange. It's when the game is so doomed that you cannot win no matter what, unless they find the one scenario in 40 million where you actually win. And it happened both times this week. I mean, last week too against Lion. So TL found a way to like not end and all die and give us soul. And we're like, okay, now we actually can win. There's actually hope now in the game. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes there's no hope in the game other than your opponent's DCing or finding one scenario where they somehow lose.
Is that something you actually talk about in scrims or in practice?
I mean, yeah, kind of. Sometimes in scrims you FF this game because it's just lost. It simply is just lost. But on stage you can't FF, so you have to just play it out and just hope that they screw up. They find the one scenario where, you know, we get soul somehow and behind 10,000 gold, I'm guessing, and yeah, it happened.
Oh, it's perfect.
Happened last week too. So we have some practice in this
scenario.
It
came out in black.
Man, that's awesome.
Color.
So you guys are now guaranteed top 2 seeds in playoffs. Next week, you'll play the #1 seed from the other group to see who the #1 seed is. But in terms of your overall record so far this split, it's within the top 3 or 4 in C9 history if the split would have ended today in terms of win percentage. How does that feel to you in terms of how this team's been performing compared to some of the rosters you've been on historically?
I think our record is a little bit better than we are right now. After the Super Week, we had a lot of confidence, but then last week we had bad practice. We had some personal issues that to take care of, no practice, and then this week was better, but I still think on stage we didn't play that well. I think we should have lost game 2 today, TL. Our drafts are a little bit, you know, up and down. I think maybe we should take the L on Ben 6 in 4-5. You know, I don't think 6 is a good champ necessarily, but APA plays it well, and their macro mid game was really good with it. So I think we made some mistakes there. I'm still confident that we were at the very worst top 2 on even the worst of days, which we saw today, right? But yeah, I think our record is a little bit better than we are.
That actually pretty big, or
I think nothing beats 2020 Spring though.
Or do I need
Definitely not.
bigger?
17-1 in the title is pretty hard to beat. Thank you very much, Sven. We're going to head to break. On the other side, we're going to have Blabber and Loki joining the lounge. See you there.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life.
Wow, this
are
camera
not
is actually
guaranteed.
really fucking bad.
Like common courtesy. Really, Brenda?
I know you can.
When they say,
I'm on my way.
no way. Pretty blue, though. Or a fun night at the movies. Yeah, that's not
So I need.
Hold on. Let me put you on speakerphone.
You know what
So-
AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on.
If I want to
the
make
deals
this
you want,
bigger,
and the
I
service
have
you
to
deserve.
go.
Or we'll make it right. That's the AT&T guarantee.
Do I have enough for 2? Yeah, I should have
Red
enough.
Bull gives you wings.
The human body
So big.
was built to move. Not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours
No,
a
that's
day.
too sharp. Let's see how it's going. There.
It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you. Gamers, hybrid workers, artists. Backing your every move.
Yeah. Gotta keep making it wider. So. Yeah, I think that will probably be better. And then. Drop it down a bit. So same thing with this. This side was a little bit more. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's just a giant piece of ice. Dip it in a little bit. And back out. Not too much. Then this should just go down. Doesn't have to be the best perfect cut, but nonetheless.
Welcome back to the LTA Lounge where we are joined by Loki and Blabber. Woo!
Did that cut all the way through? Nope.
Yeah, how are you guys feeling after, I guess, another come from behind victory?
I mean, I think we played pretty bad in the game 2. I think game 1 we played well, but I thought we could have pressured our lead a bit more. I think we were playing like a bit too reserved today, to be honest. In game 2, I think it was really bad that we gave Ziggs Herald. It let him snowball the game really hard, and then there was this one point where, like, after we got the 3rd Drake, we just let them push us in 3 lanes, did literally nothing, lost Otacon, did nothing.
Yeah, this stream is pretty bad.
Yeah,
I need to find a better way to fix that
Loki
camera.
can't get pushed bottom versus the Yorick.
I could probably
but
switch the
we
cameras
should've done
around.
something different than just sit there and wait for the next Drake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we played game 2 pretty bad.
Lucky, what are you thinking about that?
I didn't meet Yorick that much, so I don't know that matchup.
Yeah.
Yorick versus Aura, and then I have to call him, and then Yorick hit me E, and then I was like,
Well, I
what's
guess I
all
could
this
just do
damage?
this.
So yeah, I'm not sure I can win Yorick, so yeah.
It's always a bit of a surprise, but I have another surprise for you. So I'm gonna bring this bad boy out here. We have been doing tier lists. Where did Quid go?
No.
Whoa! Okay, there it is. There he is. Okay, so we have been doing tier lists basically, and this is gonna be a mid lane tier list. We want you to basically run this one. Now, Quid, I'm sorry, brother, you're probably just gonna have to be placed last. So, he's just been a little, So I want you to start basically placing where you would place the other mid laners. And you're right here too, so if you want to start with yourself, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pick it up and, have fun with it.
Okay.
Where would you place yourself?
I think my performance is.
Alright, I need to try to fix that fucking camera, because holy shit, what is that, like
A and
10 frames a second?
And then Cod, next Cod. I think Cod is pretty good. I think obviously S. And then I can go Saint.
Okay.
Ooh.
I think he's pretty good, but these days his performance was like just so-so, so I can be A or mid.
Since you faced him a lot in challengers, how has he is the matchup different now between you guys? Because obviously you're winning a lot more now that you're on C9.
I think he's pretty good lane phase, and then he's pretty good team fight, but he is kind of worried about like use flash faster in lane phase, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just played against APA, so actually you can go with him next. I'm interested where you place him.
I think APA is B, I guess.
Okay.
And then Quid.
Oh, here we go. Now, wherever you go, Magnet goes. Wherever you go, Magnet. Where would you place him?
There you go. How about this?
And you had him in A, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should this fix it a bit?
Probably prop him up there,
Lovely. Lovely.
Fantastic.
Use APA's head.
He's gonna be. Oh, okay. He's dangling, but he's there. Go for the next one. Who would you have?
Kenny.
Oh, Kenny. Perfect.
I think Kenny is pretty good in scrim, but when I see him on stage, I think he got nervous. So I think
Alright, so that should be better for my stream now.
I think C2.
Okay.
And then above is D, I guess. Yeah.
It would be this again. Oh yeah, that's a lot smoother.
Yeah, his Ziggs performance is pretty good.
APA on Ziggs, where does he go then?
Yeah, APA on Ziggs. Where are you
Just
placing
on
APA on Ziggs? If he has Ziggs in his hands.
I think his Ziggs is pretty good. I think his Ziggs is S tier. obviously S tier. Yeah.
Sorry, Quid. Appreciate you. You're going right here somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna hold you there.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
All right, that makes sense. I like the idea behind it. All right, thank you. You were a great help on that one.
Thank you.
Put that one right back there. Much respect to him. But we're going to be going into the next series, and the next series is going to be Shopify Rebellion versus 100 Thieves. Fudge has been having a really good time, at least in the last series that he had. So just talk through, I guess even talking about his experiences. Even as you can see in the quote here, I was nervous going into the SR Fly matchup. A lot of expectations, and even the whole Bippo smack talking thing. But then he's just saying, you know what? If I'm already being viewed and being called the worst player, what does he have to be afraid of? So he's been playing really well. Have you guys either played against Shopify Rebellion and scrims or anything like that? Do you guys feel like they have been getting better? Because they've had some really unlucky series recently.
I mean, what I will say about Fudge is I think he's getting a lot of undeserved hate. I honestly think he's been playing pretty well this split. I mean, he has some bad stage games. For sure, but I genuinely think he's one of the better players on his team. And yeah, I mean, I think that Shopify in general are getting a lot better.
Is it possible?
And I think that they might be able to win today. I mean,
or did I just cut this all stupidly?
They're probably better than 100 in scrims.
Yeah.
But I mean, 100 in scrims is just whatever, you know.
I could use this later on. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a close game today, to be honest.
Loki, what are your thoughts, especially with the mid laners facing off against each other? We just went through the mid lane tier list. It's going to be Quid going up against Palafox. Any thoughts on that matchup?
I think Pochi is pretty good this set. Pochi always did solo kill, enemy top. And I think 100 Thieves is really good. I think so too. So I think it's going to be close matchup. Yeah, today.
What do you guys have as your predictions for this series at all? Like 100 Thieves or Shopify? Because Robert, you said that Shopify plays better in scrims. Do you think that they'll be able to take the series at all?
I mean, I think 100 is gonna win. I mean, from my point of view, unless Shopify can actually prove to me that they don't choke on stage, that they have to prove that to me first. They almost always get in a good spot and then have no idea what to do or completely throw the game. So if they get over that, I'll start thinking they're better.
Yeah.
But like I think they're actually pretty good. They just need to get over the hump of, you know, being able to close out the game. And I think if they show that to me, like today or versus any team in the future that's semi-decent, then I'll have more faith in them.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us. Raz, I know you caught up with, we have a small stage delay actually, but you were able to catch up with the coaches ahead of this series, so let's take a look at that interview.
What's up, guys? I've got both Coach Tanner DeMonte Williams and Golden Glue right here. Question for the both of you guys. I want you guys to just talk about your friendship or relationship, because especially when you guys were on stage and chest bump, first of all, what the hell happened with that? Like, do you guys talk to each other on that?
Yeah, Grayson just honestly, he said maybe we should do this, and I was like, why not? That's my boy.
I hate this guy. I just want to intimidate him and make my opponent fearful. And I hope it also carries on to today's match.
There's no power in your voice. You obviously don't mean it. You obviously don't mean that.
A little shakiness there. Oh, just a tiny bit. Talk about your guys' relationship though, just a little bit. You know.
I mean, we competed against each other for more than 5 years. So I think over that time, I don't know how we exactly met, but we slowly were just like mutuals, and then I don't know, we just like had a group of people that like started going out and then became friends.
Confirm.
Yeah, I mean, we've just been playing with and against each other in solo queue and in person in LA for, I don't know, like a long time, like 6, 7, 8 years. So not many of our friends are still around in the scene, so it's good. It's good to be able to still hang out with your day ones.
You guys are going to be fighting against each other basically to get out of the group in the best position possible. Grayson, for you, 100 Thieves, it's been kind of like a roller coaster. Can you talk about how you guys are prepping for today's series, or how it's been in practice generally?
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like we're destined to do the same thing for the last year and a half. Like, we just have like crazy sloppy games, and I'm hoping that, you know, we're starting to ramp up. I definitely think we were in a slump.
I should have probably gone with the
10mm. Match, like, we won, but they were really messy games. It's going to be our step up to having obviously more clean games today and going into playoffs. But obviously it's a really important match for both of us, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
Tanner, these last few series have just been a little depressing. This is going to be a therapy session, so just talk through like how it has been for you guys.
I mean, so the Dignitas series was extremely depressing because we feel like we're much better than them. But I would say the FlyQuest series was actually pretty positive for us because we took a game off them and we were pretty competitive in all 3 of the games. So I would say Shopify right now, we're just crawling slowly, like inching up into like our potential. And I feel like we're actually taking 100 Thieves' spot as like that underdog team, getting that underdog buff, because I feel like 100 Thieves have been underdogs for a year and a half, which doesn't really work because they are now like finishing first place in regular season and having good performances. So I think they're feeling the pressure of like, okay, maybe we're not underdogs anymore and this is not acceptable. Versus us, I think we have more of a plus on teams, or people think 100 Thieves are better than us. So
okay,
we're keeping the underdog. We're keeping the underdog. You can't take that away from us.
Double underdog, maybe.
We can both be we're both the underdogs today.
All right, good luck for your games, guys. One more chest bump just for the server. Just why not?
You ready? Yeah.
Send it straight to you guys.
And then get the drum on go. Glue all this.
Thank you very much, Raz. Awesome hear from the coaches right there. Golden Glue saying they're going to keep the underdog narrative, Jet. They don't want to lose that one.
They're trying, and if they keep winning, they're going to lose the underdog narrative. What we have seen is teams below them in the standings have been devastated by 100 Thieves.
That doesn't sound like an underdog.
It doesn't, but that has been the narrative this whole time.
Yeah, interesting to think. Maybe underdog compared to the other top 3 teams around them, but Shopify Rebellion, they've been so close so many times, Jet, and they just have not gotten over that 3rd game curse.
They really have been so close. To me, they are, and this is going to sound really like it's going to sound like them, it's not. They're the best winless team we have. Like, they are so good considering they haven't won at all.
That's disrespect on Lions right there. But
I mean, it's strange, though, because I watch their games, and one, in the 2 best-of-3s they've played, they've picked up 2 games. So they've been 1 game away from winning both of their series. I've seen a lot of improvements from the guy you see on screen, Fudge. He had such an insanely strong week last week. Contracts has been consistently making a bunch of things happen, and maybe it's a team fight that goes wrong or a Game 3 draft that doesn't line up, and then they fall short at the end of the series and feel really dejected afterwards. But I can see the progress happening under the surface. It just hasn't manifested in series wins yet.
There's always just that one moment late in the game where the wheels kind of fall off for Shopify Rebellion. And if they can play a clean game of League of Legends, we've seen how strong they look. It's just, playing that clean game.
Yeah, one of their coaches, DeMonte, was kind enough to share
because
their internal
I have to
scrim
use
board as well. So I want to
this rope.
A
little insider information.
A little insight on their practice. So this is the board they have in their office.
Okay.
The ratings you see on the bottom right.
Every single thing you do makes you better or worse
on the day that they are scrimming. So it's an individual. So Fudge is ranking himself. B-Boy's ranking himself. Based on their individual goals, how they feel like they played each day in scrims, and then they kind of look at the whole week. Plus, you can see all the other goals. Palafox has additional goals you can see there on the bottom left. But I just think it's an interesting insight into what we've been working on. Like for us, Palafox has been the biggest underperformer. So I think that has been acknowledged a little bit on this board where he has the additional goal on the bottom left. You can also see Monday, not a good day of scrims for him. He gave himself a 3, but he's bouncing back with an 8 on the next day. So for me, for this team to succeed, Palafox really needs to have more of those 8 days and a lot less of those 3 days, which have been happening so much on stage.
And I was noticing their B-Boy, we got to get some more confidence in our boy B-Boy right there. He was like averaging a 5.
So DeMonte told me, B-Boy, since you are self-ranking, very critical.
Okay.
Like, for him, a 6 is kind of a 9.
All right.
So if he dies once, it's like no higher than 6.
So graded on the curve, I think that may be like averaging a 7 or an 8 there then for him.
Who knows? I just know that I was trying to count. I was like, B-Boy had the worst week. No. B-Boy is just extremely self-critical.
Yeah, but I think that's an interesting way to coach. I love seeing those kind of behind-the-scenes things because we don't get to do that often in League of Legends esports. But when you get to see how the team actually grades themselves, some of those fun quotes on the board as well. I mean, I think there's some truth that everything you do does make you better or worse at League of Legends. So making sure that your eyes are on the prize. If your goal is to perform, because Shopify find themselves in a really interesting position right now.
I want to
if they lose this, they're guaranteed to have to play for a match next weekend, which could either mean the end of their entire split or a lower bracket into playoffs.
Yeah, as we're into draft right now,
I'll make layers while I fold it up.
Decided in this group because the other 2 teams will play tomorrow with FlyQuest playing Dignitas. But what we do know is that if 100 Thieves win, they will be clinching top 2 within the group.
Okay.
So that will be the most important thing. It gets really crazy if Shopify wins.
The rope needs to at least go here.
But it could also still mean they're 4th or 3rd or somewhere else.
Okay.
The rope needs to go
everything
here
is a possibility depending on if some crazy stuff ended up happening tomorrow. So Shopify, just win.
Swing it around. So I also
just win and you're in.
I think generally that's the goal for teams. Is if you win, it gets easier for your playoff chances. Losing makes that a little harder. But game number 1, we're into pick and ban. So let's catch up on what we see on the screen so far. Ari plus Sejuani plus Jace banned away on Shopify.
Put it up high.
Vi, Varus, and I'm waiting on that last one because there's one specific pick that they always seem to ban in the first rotation.
Is it named
Rumble? I was actually going to play a little game with you and say you used to do Jet stats. Well, I got a little stat for you. What's the one champion that Snipers never played this year?
Rumble.
It's Rumble. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, this was pretty common knowledge within the larger LTA ecosystem is that 100 Thieves, typically, this was actually set on pros by Isles the other week, who's a support for Dignitas.
Let's get the hot air gun.
Even in scrims, 100 Thieves will ban Rumble. Yeah. Just themselves, because they don't play it, they don't play against it. But in this situation, they have finally left it open. It had been something that they had banned 100% of the games this split so far.
Wow.
So this is a bit of a change. Either they disrespect Fudge's Rumble. He's played it 3 times so far this year.
Second most played, I believe.
Won 2 of the games. And this is across all of their games in spring. But it's a bit of a gauntlet that they're trying to broaden their horizons and get that ban back, see if they can survive it.
Yeah, and they were hovering the Gnar. That would have been interesting to see them just blind pick it. They go for the Fury instead, as it was not Rumble priority for Shopify Rebellion. Instead, it was the Talia locked in. Very defensive pick there in the mid lane. Pairs with a lot of different junglers right now. And nope, not going to be the Rumble. River was just playing around with us. It is Gwen locked in, presumably for Sniper. One of the only AP champions that he actually has piloted this year.
Yeah, but it really fits his style to me. Sniper is the type of player who needs to be on a attacking damage dealer. So any kit that fits that archetype, I feel like he should be fairly comfortable with. You can read down the champions he's played this split. Gnar, Jace, Riven, Aatrox, Gwen, Camille, they all fit that archetype. And then in terms of dealing magic damage, it's kind of a must if they're going to be locking into Fury, who's a strictly physical damage jungler, to have the right damage spread on their team. So it makes sense why they would just end up blind picking that, because it's kind of the only thing that fits that slot since he's not a Rumble player.
Jen, I got to bring the attention to that sign right there. I believe we had 100% pick rate for sign champions last series.
Oh,
yeah? Yeah, they were picking things like the Lilia. There was one other sign.
Will
we get the Shungle? It was Shen.
Shen
Jungle, yeah.
Shungle. Another Shungle. Well,
that's what Azale calls it, at least.
Not this game.
Okay.
Pantheon could be a flex pick for what it's worth. Seos has played it once this split on support. The Rumble is locked in. It's not going to be banned in the 4-5, so we'll have Rumble Gwen up top. Really interested to see how Sniper deals with Rumble now. It'll be his first stage game against Rumble all year.
And like we had said, it had been 100% ban rate, so maybe a bit of disrespect. Maybe it's Sniper showing that he has improved, that he's grown as a player. They don't need to ban that away. Either way, that's a damage spread that we were looking for with the Gwen AP top lane, AP mid laner of the Victor to go along with that Nefiri.
Yeah, so I feel a little weird about that Victor pick at the moment. Maybe Quid just likes the matchup against the Taliyah, because I would expect when they're playing the Nefiri that they want to be really up-tempo, push lanes, invade, and Victor is much more of a scaling insurance champion, so I'm going to be curious to see how River navigates his Nefiri when he probably won't have a bunch of pressure in the mid lane with Quid.
Yeah, I imagine that picking something with priority bot lane should be the next priority for them. They'll get counterpick for ideally support here. Ayla does like to go for that counterpick occasionally, but it's going to be the Lucian banned out, the Kalista banned out. So now both of these teams get to heavily focus on the AD carry or support champ pool in the second phase of bans.
Yeah, it depends how much these teams want to try and play to tendencies, because B-Boy, generally speaking, if Ezreal's up, he picks Ezreal. So I wonder if 100 Thieves is going to ban that just to get him off comfort, or just say, okay, we'll let you have Ezreal because it controls the game for us a little bit. Because so far the bans have just been all about bot lane push with the Lucian and Kalista bans.
But the Alistar ban as well. Crazy that we live in a world where you can just blind pick Alistar and it still works for the comp. Because they do want some kind of primary engage. Right now, Shopify Rebellion only have the Pantheon, which can work. Talia Flick can work, but they would like something that's a little more direct, something like the Alistar, like a Nautilus, like a Rel. So I'm expecting Seos to pilot that, and he's played almost exclusively those engaged supports, things like Leona, Alistar, Rakan, Nautilus, the like.
Yeah, FBI, I think, would smartly take away the Ezreal here. Otherwise, I would see Ezreal Leona just locked in straight away for Shopify would be what I expect. Let's see what FBI ends up. I mean, Ziggs would be completely troll with the double AP already in their solo lanes, but Jhin is okay with the Nefiri Gwen because it's two champions that dive in really far, and a lot of times it's hard for an AD carry to follow up on that, but because of Jin's absurd range, it definitely helps add utility to the team comp.
Now, will B-Boy go for that Ezreal? It's by far his most played this split, and the way Seos likes to play, always at the hip of contracts, following around the jungler, it makes sense for B-Boy to play something like the Ezreal. Yeah, Seos can engage, he can have that range, he can also just stay in lane, let Seos get out of there. So, yet again, we have B-Boy locking in Ezreal.
I mean, Seos has got 5 Leona games. He has played nothing but engaged supports. Ends up going with the Nautilus here. Maybe it's because of the Nefiri. I'm not 100% sure how the Nefiri untargetability would work with the Nautilus R. I believe it would still give the knockup, but a lot of the role that you play in the game with Nautilus and Leona is just going to be the same shell of a character.
Yeah, and I think Ayla's going to have to answer in kind. Typically, counter support means that you can go for, like, disengage if they lock in that, but they also need their own engage. They don't have a big go tool. So instead, it's going to be Leona for Ayla instead of Seos.
Yep, just trading engaged supports at the end there. Ayla keeping a very diverse champion pool so far this split. So I'm looking at 100 Thieves composition overall. There's a lot of stuff they want to do through Sniper. He picked the Gwen early. They picked the Nefiri very early. They want to play, I think, around those two. And then everyone else's utility and scaling on their team comp. And when I look at Shopify Rebellion, my eyes go to Palafox's Taliyah. Because that's the pick that seems, Taliyah individually, seems like one of the most broken mid laners of this entire split.
Yes.
It's Palafox's most played, but Palafox has also been
their
worst performer, so he needs to have a good game for that team composition to work.
Having talked with some of the mid laners in the league, though, there was kind of this rumor going around, though, that Taliyah's only broken in the hands of the top 4 teams. The bottom 4 teams don't know how to play Taliyah quite as well, so this is Palafox going to need to step up because it does take some team coordination, using the wall at the right time, using that unraveled earth at the right time to stop the opponent's engages.
So how's your guys' days going?
Fairly short-range champion, but still can do it. But non-subscribers, we'll see you in 30 seconds. Everybody else, we're getting ready for Shopify Rebellion versus 100 Thieves. The Riot Games Arena was making some noise right there. They're ready to get into this best of 3 series. Shopify Rebellion, a win means that their playoff or upper bracket playoff dreams are still alive. 100 Thieves looking to get that top bracket locked in for them.
They absolutely are. Let's see if Shopify can end their loss streak. We already have a little bit of poking around the river as we're loading into the game. That's going to not result in anything large, but just to catch people up, River was trying to get a little bit of deep vision. He got poked back. He ends up having to place that defensive ward on his recall. And this is something that has been really important, especially against stuff like Pantheon Jungle, who will only get an advantage on the Nefiri if he can either counter jungle or know where the Nefiri is. So preventing 100 Thieves from getting any deep vision is very beneficial for Contracts. But on the same coin, they don't exactly know where River started either because they weren't confident enough to push through for vision.
Yeah, they didn't get any of their own deep wards. It was shallow wards defensively for each of them.
Palafox just did it. He managed to push late for a ward, but Quid did exactly the same thing, so now they see each other.
All right, junglers will have information of each other's starts. Now, which one would you say that favors? Because you were just saying if Contracts can invade and get up in Nefiri's face, maybe that's better, but now it's going to be easier for River to track that.
For sure. To me, when you're on the faster farming jungle, you always want more control, so if both junglers know where both junglers are, it is advantage to the Nefiri.
All right, well, let's see if River's able to play with that advantage. You had also highlighted Palafox early on there. He's getting the early shove versus the Victor right now. And I'm looking at the other lanes to see where priority is going to be, because when I saw the Nefiri with the Gwen, with the Victor, I was looking for advantage on the bot side. They do have the immediate shove down here. FBI and Ayla will hit level 2 a little bit faster.
Yeah, you never know how aggressive these guys are going to be willing to get. Level 2 should be hit by 100 Thieves. You can see over on the right side here, but B-Boy and Seos are just very respectful of that. B-Boy, as we said, has the most Jezreel games, and that's a turret. That's a turret, Ayla. Be careful.
Yeah, takes a little bit of damage. It hits level 2 first, gets the aftershocks. It didn't actually take that much from the turret, thankfully, but FBI poking heavily. Also, one to him. Okay, all right. 100 Thieves really playing the line right there. That's what we call that one.
Yeah, and we just need to see how this new patch ends up manifesting in-game, because the complaint about 5-minute grubs is that it limited jungle creativity because there were so many objectives. You just had to full clear a whole bunch. Swap around 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, and then fight grubs. And that now that that's removed, maybe we'll end up seeing more. But we were watching that Team Liquid C9 game 1, and it just meant that they farmed until 8 minutes. And then they swapped and went for the grubs. So we will see if Contracts or River make anything happen early, because they are two of the most creative junglers in the league.
Great hat from that fan in the audience right there. But I'm happy you bring up that fact that Contracts is one of the players that even before the change, actually, as there's some trade bots, that shouldn't lead to any kills either way. Contracts is one of those junglers that would go for the early ganks regardless. And so far on the Pantheon, something that in my opinion can look for early action if you have the right lane set up for it, has just been opting for that full clear yet again. We see both junglers just doing opposite starts and ending up on the opposite sides of the Scuttle Crab spawn.
Yeah, both junglers, 7 camp, clear so far. There are not great ganks available. Contracts is getting this deep ward. He was wondering if River, I mean, he knows this isn't respawning immediately. He's trying to get a cheeky Raptor counter jungle in.
Yeah, this is interesting. And Palafox is getting a heavy trade onto Quid right now, so they should have advantage right now. River will catch Contracts at the Raptors. Contracts can stick around. Quid's going to have to back and TP in, but Contracts, it's like, I don't know if they really want to go for this. Yeah, smite from River. Secures that. Contracts cannot get it. Walks away frustrated. River laughing.
Yeah, I mean, small thing there. When you do the Raptor first start, it means your Raptors will be spawning faster. Contracts didn't do the Raptor start. He did a red start, so his Raptors are on a later cooldown. So essentially, he's trying to cheat River right there out of Raptors, but then when he failed, it doesn't actually cost him that much, because you can see his Krugs are what's spawning on the bottom side. He's going to be pathing up. It costs him in actual time, but it won't cost him a huge amount of experience.
Sure. But Palafox really didn't seem like on the same page right there. Did not want to walk up, even though Quid had to back and TP in. Palafox had gotten that earlier reset for the tier. Means that no action early game for Shopify Rebellion. Instead, we're going to have another little snoozer here. This is where the grubs would be spawning, but would be on the rift already. But Dragon's now up. Maybe that's the magnet to cause action.
I mean, you can see Quid with the defensive build already with a null magic early on Victor, so he's just looking to delay this out. River's going to be trying to go for the enemy Raptors now, pay contracts back for his little invader Rooski.
And he's got Ayla behind him, so with the benefit of the support, Seos is going to be a little later. They're trying to lock down contracts, big damage to start off, but not enough to threaten a kill. Contracts will walk away half health.
Yeah, Quid came over as well as his lane got shoved in, so Quid has to go back and touch that wave. You would think that maybe there's a dragon timing here, but not quite, I think, with how much River invested and how he wants to keep his camps not alive for too long so he can keep over-leveling the Pantheon. That'll be how Nefiri wins this matchup against Pantheon. Kind of like we saw this exact matchup in Game 1 today.
True.
With Blabber and Umpty. Blabber just continued to farm against Umpty's Pantheon, and as long as the Pantheon wasn't getting off successful ganks, it was a little inevitable that the Nefiri would end up being stronger. So it is more on 100 Thieves here to just keep farming, and it's on contracts to try and make things happen.
He's still looking for that level 6. Should be able to get it well before the grubs spawn, but no focus on that dragon yet from River. They did have that priority in the bottom lane to play around. Now he's actually in that bottom river. Let's see maybe if he goes for it here.
I mean, it's a really good timing for him to think about Drake. He will lose his Raptors for this. Contracts is already seeding that. He's got a control word in. He's taking his Raptors, and instead River's looking for a play.
Interesting. Not level 6 yet. Sees the control ward in the Tri-Brush, just hovering around to make sure that they can get that lane in. Makes me think that he does not realize Contracts is on the top side. The Contracts will take away the Raptors, and now, I mean, the buff is spawning soon. Krugs as well. Contracts is actually going to get a lot of counter jungling done here, and River does not have the same camps to take away.
Yeah, you'd want Contracts to be able to make a play after this, but River really just, he's almost like he's hoping to run into Pantheon, but now he decides, okay, he's definitely not here, time to start Drake. And now it's on Sniper to play properly defensively, because he will be vulnerable for a play. You can see how he hasn't actually taken much pokes since teleporting back to lane, so Sniper's doing a good job here, not trying to solo kill Fudge and just playing weak side.
Dodging out on that damage. Fudge has the equalizer, but they're not going to go for the dive under turret. Hard to actually burst down that Camille, especially with exhaust taken by Sniper. So no flash available, but hey, if you're playing weak side and you're just going to be under your turret early game, that's totally fine. River will eventually get the dragon. So objective picked up now for 100 Thieves.
Risky invade here.
Contracts actually
that's
goes
good
towards
like
the bottom
this.
camp. So River is on the buff right now.
So when I do
Level
this,
6, Contracts as
go.
well.
He's doing this without his bottom lane. His bottom lane reset.
He's going to look to jump over the wall, but he's going to jump straight into Seos and B-Voy if they want to collapse.
Okay,
but nope, they're not going to go for the trap. River will get out.
He will get out, but Pantheon will have the tempo advantage off of this. River still hasn't reset after the Drake. Contracts essentially got a leash on his red buff.
Yeah.
And aside from losing the Drake, is going to be fairly comfortable for this upcoming fight that we will probably see at the Rift Herald. And just to update on what's happened here, Sniper is in the bottom lane. Palafox's teleport is going to be up before his, so Shopify would be able to move first, and they're going
to play in the mid lane instead. Gravity Wall goes down, flash out of Quid, stuns up Seos over the turret, stuns up Contracts as well. Big damage from Quid onto the jungler and support, and gets away with his life. Quid absorbs the play.
And that's the Mercury Treads in action. Look at that incredibly defensive build by Quid, but if he didn't build that exact item, he's probably dead in the CC chain. And he needs that because the Pantheon Taliyah combo used to be a one-shot combo when Taliyah did more damage, but it's still an extremely effective combo when you can put them in mid-jungle. And since that turn was spent by Contracts and Seos to 3-man gank mid, it will mean an uncontested grub for River and 100 Thieves.
Yeah, 100 Thieves benefiting from more inaction here. Oftentimes a team that makes the first play that doesn't go right means that you give a window to the other team to make a play like this uncontested. Fudge will walk up here, but River's already gotten two, has Smite, gets it, jumps out. That's all 3 grubs over to 100 Thieves, plus the earlier dragon. So they are on track to get that early, objective picked up.
Yep. 2 objectives towards Feet of Monster Slaying.
Let's name that one officially.
Feet of Monster Slaying. No,
is that it?
Feet of Monster Slaying.
Feet of Monster Slaying. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I don't, and I know Feet of Warfare, and then the other one is just I don't know.
Okay.
It's like Feet of First Turret. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
Someone probably knows. Please tweet me.
Feet of Brick.
I'm close to knowing all 3. The patch has only been out for 4 months, so please correct me.
I guess the term monster is just a little subjective for me. So, dragons are kind of cool, right?
What are the other monsters?
Well, I think grubs are monsters for sure.
Okay. Harold, what's ambiguous about this?
Well, dragons are like kind of cool, right?
They're not monsters?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd put them in that category.
You're losing me.
I put them in like the animal category
I
more
feel
than
like you're
monster
complaining
category.
for the sake of complaining.
Yeah, you're just trying to make conversation here, Jack. But get back into the game. It is the point is 100 Thieves are closer to picking that one up. the feet of monsters.
Other way around.
There we go. But other than that, very slow game here. Now, this isn't what I expect from Shopify Rebellion. A lot of times with the Shopify games, Jet, I've been conditioned for high-action early games. Where are the kills? Where's the aggression?
They're coming.
Yeah?
Just give it a minute.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
I've been told by our producers it is actually called Feet of First Turret.
It is Feet of First
So
Turret.
we have them all. It's Feet of Monster Slaying, Feet of Warfare, and Feet of First Turret.
That just doesn't have the same ring
It doesn't
to
have a
it.
good ring.
We'll have to
Another
crowdsource
layer on
the
top.
audience here to see if there's a better one. Maybe Twitch chat can help us out with that. We'll just get a community vote, but we have Shopify with multiple members.
make
Bot
it
side. Sails
round.
and Ayla are both hovering around their mid laners just in case anybody makes the play. Ayla backing up
Hey.
now means that Sails will walk up to clear
Hey, how are you
that
doing?
vision, but Dragon's not going to be up for another minute and a half, so
CJ,
I don't expect a hard force
how's your
right
day?
now.
I'm over
Definitely
here
not.
just
I mean,
trying
Quid's
to
build
learn
is
how
just
to
so slow. Not only did he rush Mercury treads,
create stuff.
he took the detour
Oh,
for Dark
my
Seal and he's
camera
building
fell.
towards a Catalyst. Ooh, River here to defend, to dive. I mean, 100 Thieves is playing full defense, and it's interesting because the weak side sniper has been properly respectful, but that also has taken away any edge or solo kill look he'd go for, as he might go for a fight here.
Sails could be in trouble. Instead, it's actually Grand Starfall from
First comes in.
Contract trying to get damage
Yeah,
on Quid. Again, kind of tanky right now. Do they have
If
the
you
damage
play
to kill him? He goes down. First blood to Contract.
trying to
Straight
create
from Palafox. Contract on
this.
Pantheon now trying to trade back onto River. Sails locking down Ayla. River just doesn't have enough in the tank. That's a double kill to Contract. So
So
the
my-
curtain's been called. Oh, but the Dredge line cancels it out. Sayo stopping FBI's ultimate. That's 2 on the board for Shopify Rebellion.
That was
On
such an
TikTok it
interesting
is.
re-engage
I've been
there.
doing
Some
a
of
couple
Thieves was
streams
kind of
just
lazily
looking
playing
at the
defense. It looked
LTA
like the
content
three-man dive had
as
been
the sound
called
behind me,
off,
or you could
but
see
then
that
Contract
little
just
bit of the
walked out
video.
Fog of War and ulted in.
I
like
love
he
it.
never left, but he had so
So
much
it's
damage
from
with
that
getting the extra
game.
cycle of his Q there that he was able to really win that fight in the later stages.
That's when the Kangol goes right, everybody.
Yeah, so
Pantheon
you've been
worked.
playing a lot of Pantheon. When we get into this replay, tell us if Contracts
Yeah.
did it exactly right.
So it's all about the combo to get maximum damage, but when you have somebody like Palafox there, that obviously helps
Yeah,
out.
thank
so
you.
yeah, you're right.
Walk us through
I
Contracts.
plan on doing more
So-
because
well, usually the
even
Kangol's
though
back, I suppose.
that
Here's the
is
angle. So
the
Quid in the brush right
this
now.
is only the
drops
top
the ward
piece. So
down,
the
goes
goal
in,
is
clean combo.
to get
Oh,
that,
it's alive, actually. We don't get to analyze that one any longer.
put
as Ayla
this
might just be
in the
caught out.
middle of
Gravity
it,
Well from
tied
Quid
with
buys
the
a lot
rope,
of time. Still kill
so
over
they
the
can
Contract.
flail it
Shopify
around.
Claim the feat of
'Cause
warfare,
it's
and they're
supposed to
going to look to
be
scrap at the Dragon. 100 Thieves have
couple
3
of
members
things.
pretty healthy here. Palafox will push the mid wave, but River, yeah, he doesn't
Because
want
it's
to hard
supposed to
commit
be
to
a
it.
ice
Control the
flail.
banana brush.
They're in pretty good shape. Sayos has to be a little bit careful because of his
B-Boy's
low
there.
health.
So I
Shopify
plan on
is a top
doing
team.
Oh, FBI going
this.
in and
So
just
part
gets
of this will be
punished for it.
decorated.
That
The
was a
bottom
flash
part will be
forward, I
decorated.
believe.
So
And he goes
when
down.
they want
River
to
trying to equalize, get 1 out of
spin
contract. That's a
around.
1-for-1 so far for B-Boy yet again. Oh, but River with a double kill as Quid just doesn't quite have enough damage with the help of Ayla. That will be enough. Now Quid gets it. 100 Thieves turn the play.
That might be what pulls 100 Thieves ahead in this
So if
game.
you check
We're
the
gonna
first
watch
video,
the start
the
of
video
this
I
fight
just
one more
released
time.
that's saying
And my
that
concern
before
with
I
this
go on my
100
live
Thieves comp is
stream,
that the Victor is so
you could
weak
see
early,
the
especially with his
character
build,
of
and it looks
who-
like this fight is going to start well
who
for
I
them.
plan on doing.
But as Contracts jumps
whose
in
weapon I
over
plan
the
on doing.
Talia rocks to try and just one-shot, how does this get turned around? River ends up getting the reset, pops the double kill. Palafox misses his seismic shove there on Quid that allows him to walk it off before Ayla arrives and closes the deal onto B-Boy. Bit of an overchase there at the end by B-Boy. And to me, that is just 100 Thieves out-handsing
Yeah.
Shopify a little bit.
That felt like one of those moments that B-Boy could have been the hero, but instead, slight misplays. River's able to get in, get the resets, get a double kill, and now a completed item here on the Nefiri. About halfway to that second item. Big spike for this champion. Now Shopify Rebellion maybe looking at FBI down here. They have contracts, and again, the ultimate's available. They could just look for the dive. No flash, no barrier.
Yeah, summoner list. Ghostblade Swifties. He's a quick boy, but...
not going to do it. He's able to clear the wave too fast. Dragon's going to be the name of the game now, though. 100 Thieves will start it up yet again, and Shopify Rebellion, I don't know if they're going to walk up and contest this.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky. Contracts, I don't believe, has his ultimate just yet that he'd want to fly in with, and they don't have any river control, so just danger
Oh,
zone.
flash over the wall from Ayla. Chain CC. Where you going, Palafox? Answers nowhere. Grand Circle onto FBI, though. Still no summoner spells. Contracts takes him out as River's locked down by Seos. Flashes away to safety, but Fudge has joined up with the rest of Shopify Rebellion. And now River with the knockup will make it out. Quid, Gravity Well yet again stopping.
If you make any costumes, I'm always down for some advice.
Anymore. Shopify Rebellion strike back.
I mean, they lose the battle, but if 100 Thieves probably wins the war because they just got the feat of first turret to secure their overall feat of strength, and sorry, they will when they get another objective, so that's still on the table, but they get it's 1-1 now. Basically, last week, Sniper was teleporting into every single play, even if it had been lost. The start of this was Palafox literally getting one shot, but multiple ults used, and then B-Boy gets a lot of damage onto FBI.
If you're still here, CJ,
so
you ever watch League of Legends or any of that?
With the teleport coming in on top of it. I do like the proactivity that I'm seeing from Shopify. If that one dragon fight earlier had gone a little bit more in their favor, I feel like they'd be running away with this game.
Quid reacted to something there. Not quite sure what, but ooh, Contracts fighting for his own buff, will secure it, I believe. Actually, maybe not. Aseos has not picked up that blue buff right there, but either way, River now onto the Herald. The Hunter Thieves do have multiple members around here.
Okay, I think that would be good.
Still on
so, and then when I do
seconds, I believe, if my screen is right.
This.
So that means that, yep, no contest. And now,
should,
100 Thieves with this third objective.
Theory.
There we go. Boom. Rift Herald secured, and that will be defeats of Monster Slain.
Yep, golf claps all around.
Yep.
From Riot Games Arena. Quid is beginning to become online right now, which will be a big thing to track, because the awkward stage of this game where Neferi is trying to run around and make things happen when your Victor has little damage and little pressure is over. So now I think River can play with a little bit more confidence, and Shojin is completed, so the 2-item power spike of Neferi is here.
And I gotta say, oh, actually, Contract's looking for a play right now onto Sniper. Damage to start it off, still has that exhaust, and is just fine. Contracts is trying to make plays happen, because yes, you're right, the Quid's coming online right now with this build, and Contracts, as much as I love Pantheon, it does fall off the later the game goes. So 4-1 and 2, Contracts is having a fantastic start, but you still want to make action happen. And speaking of Contracts, I actually wanted to highlight him a little bit as a player. Not everyone's aware of how long he's been playing in the league for and how many teams he's actually played for. All the way back to 2017 when he went to World's semifinals on Cloud9, then the Golden Guardians era. He played on 100 Thieves for a short period of time, Academy, and then also main roster before making his way back to pro play. So Contracts, I mean, he's been around for quite a while. I love to see players like him have performances like this, because he's got a lot of experience against River specifically.
Yeah, it's such a fun matchup to watch as the fight's happening bot lane.
Ooh, big damage, locked up, taken down. Ayla's out of there. Contracts making another play happen. 5-1 and 2 on the Pantheon.
Palafox teleports in at the end, which actually means mid lane is unprotected.
B-Boy's jumping away, but Curtain Call, and River's just diving under the turret. That's flash out of B-Boy, but he's out of there. River with the kill credit. Palafox jumps in with a Weaver's Wall, but River escapes. Clean plays from 100 Thieves to make a pick in the mid lane. Maybe more. No, Sayo should be fine.
Yeah, this is so close. I mean, this game has been very back and forth. That was a good play by Shopify, followed by an overcommit by Palafox, and now Contracts is looking for more plays.
Hey, Barbara, how did you get the little raccoon on your thing?
Commit to it. I mean, you can try and go for the flash, but there's just no way that you have enough damage on your own, so not going to commit to it. Yeah, it's been back and forth here, Jet. Both of these teams just slugging it out here. Feats of Warfare picked up by 100 Thieves means that they are in the lead right now, but Dragons are dead even. Gold is close to even. It's not even 1,000 gold advantage for 100 Thieves, so I'd say Shopify Rebellion,
from there,
this isn't the cleanest early game we've seen from them, but it's still looking like a decent winnable game from their perspective.
Yeah, it reminds me of a lot of Shopify games we've seen so far where they feel really close to being able to win. The Sniper goes for
there's
Fudge
the exhaust,
here.
River's nearby, and Fudge is still just zooming out of there. Through the exhaust and everything, I think he's going to get the safety. Contracts nearby. River cannot chase.
Or would it be better if I do it like
spending
this?
A lot of time up there. Sniper using the summer cells. Fudge gets out.
Yeah, Fudge much improved from last week, but I want to look at some of the gold graphs from Shopify so far this split, where these are not necessarily the gold graphs you would see in a winning game, but we'll have to be able to get those up in a little bit as this game is very close, and Shopify has just been so close so many times.
If I just do it this way.
So many times. Now they're against 100 Thieves, and again, a reminder that if Shopify lose this series, they will be 0-3 in series scores overall. So a lot on the line here. They want to give themselves at least a chance of dodging that lower bracket in the playoffs. But 5 seconds here. Big objective spawning. Otacon has spawned, which now triggers a special Uber Eats offer that you can check out in chat or the Twitch extension. Make sure to check that out, everybody. And Dragon also up in 5 seconds, so a lot of action could be happening on this bot side of the river.
And with this Drake coming up soon, we'll see how 100 Thieves is going to make the setup. I'm looking at 2 out of 5
I want to put little support things, so this thing
and River,
does
and
not
they have
move.
the original setup, so it'll be very difficult for Shopify to brute force their way into this one.
100 Thieves control all the vision, but they don't control the
Karakesi,
vision.
how's your day going?
Flanking wards that Shopify Rebellion could look at. Fudger's teleport, Pallet Box does not. But the rest of the team just is not set up to actually capitalize on that. 100 Thieves, yeah, just kind of brute forcing their way in, and despite Shopify Rebellion doing some homework, not able to catch it. So another objective, but here's that gold graph you were talking about.
I got extra rope.
It's closer than you think. I mean, look at it 20 minutes, how close all those games are that all ended up in defeat. And we might be seeing the same story here if they can't defend this Otacon, because not only did the Drake go over, they're still not in position. If 100 Thieves can just clean both these objectives, this is such a long turn. Fight this.
We're around that moment where the wheels fall off for Shopify Rebellion, as it's a Pallet Box engagement. Ayla,
does he have friends, though?
No damage following up right now. Now Sniper comes in, flash out from Pallet Box, trying to get the safety, but over the wall goes River, trying to dive onto the back line. What are we doing? River goes way too far forward. Will at least get the kill through the bleed. 1 for 1, losing your jungler for the mid laner.
And it did stop the Otacon, so Shopify at least averted the big disaster. And you could see Ayla was just locked in. He'd already picked Palafox a couple times this game. He's just going for another one.
It's personal at this point.
Jhin and Nefiri were so far away that play just didn't have time to work properly. So his team is still on Otacon when he goes for that Leona ulti. Fudge is closer than his nearest teammate. So a very ambitious look there from Ayla. You could tell Ayla was saying, we're going to peel off
extra
Otacon,
pieces still, but I want to try to use
thinking,
the pieces I already cut.
I mean, they even just saw the teleport come in from Fudge right there. So even if you just back off of Otacon and get the teleport, that still feels good for 100 Thieves, but because they lose River, they cannot go back onto it. So back to a state of pretty even game state. It's barely a gold lead for 100 Thieves right now. It's only 1 dragon in the lead plus the feats of strength. I'd say, when I look at these comps too, it's always hard to immediately identify the scaling advantage. I like the Nefiri into the Pantheon much more, so that's what I want to focus on. I feel like River is in a very comfortable position right now.
Does it actually reach?
I think so.
I don't know how good gun reaches.
Check. I just look at
It's a
Quid,
wired Haku gun.
Former MVP, maybe best player in the game. He's online at this stage.
Level
13 Vector, 2 core items. He's only going to be getting
how you pronounce the name?
Difficult for Shopify to kill him.
Yeah.
He has the Mercury Treads. He can walk off.
How's your guys' days doing?
Engages. The Locket from the owner will be able to help him live. He's going to have 3,000 or 4,000 health by the time this game is over with. And his health AP items keep coming in. So he's the one that I look to really carry team fights, and he's the one that Shopify's going to have to find a way to either fight away from or actually kill in a team fight.
And at this point, he's about 30 seconds away from that Roa fully stacking.
You know what I really need for this?
More HP.
I should have planned further ahead.
Started up yet again. Seos does spot this. Now, still no teleport on Fudge.
What useless thing do I have around here?
Palafox has Weaver's Wall and teleport. 100 Thieves. They're spotted on the objective. Do they want to commit? Taking that debuff, the armor shred, the magic is a shred. Makes the fight afterwards very difficult, but getting the Otacon is a huge buff right now. Flash forward from Seos.
Trying to get
throws out the ultimate onto Quid, and now in comes Contracts, but now teleport deep. That's going to be Sniper going into everybody. Seos is already down, and now Sniper can continue the
Team
chase.
Liquid lose?
Contracts
If you guys are in the chat, who saw you?
Trying to keep himself alive as he's logging out Quid, but again, the damage is just coming through. Locked down Quid with the kill. Cred has Ayla on the flank, gifting a kill over to Shopify Rebellion. 1 for 2 in favor of the Thieves.
I love watching Otacon in these fights with what he ends up getting himself wrapped up in.
Nice.
He was shredding 100 Thieves that kind of probably stopped them from backing Ayla up at the end of this fight. But to get back to the beginning of this fight, 100 Thieves is just using this Otacon as a fight creator. And they're doing their best
How do you check
to
that?
avoid
How the fuck do you
shred
check gifts?
for when the fight starts. So in that fight in particular, it was pretty much just River who had the debuff on him. Nobody else did. So when Shopify ended up going for Quid, he flashed over the wall, and that was the engage that they used. So like, look at this. River's almost just soloing it, using the dogs to tank a little bit and not getting chunked. So it's not the normal weakness that a team would have when they started Otacon, which means this turns into a bad engagement.
How do you guys
it's not
check
a weakened
little
team
pure
that Shopify is engaging in on. On the backside of
Is
the
there a
striker,
way
you
to
can
check
see
that
Ayla.
stuff?
Let's see what he ends up getting himself caught up in.
I never understood how to check
back
my
to Sniper, and Palafox
stuff.
ends up getting a pick onto Ayla there.
It's my
So
first
nice
time
job by
streaming on
Palafox on the
TikTok.
backside.
Yeah, Ayla a little caught off from the rest
What are
of
you
the
guys doing
team,
for Mother's
but
Day?
still, I think a
'Cause
win
remember,
for
Mother's
400
Day is
Thieves. They don't
just-
get the Otacon after the fact. Though.
is
So
what,
back to
tomorrow
live.
now?
The objective is still on the Rift. Maybe they get a pick on the Seos. Ooh! Throws the Dredge Line back in. Solar Flare misses. Seos walks out.
Seos does not pick himself, but it was close. He almost ulted himself into the team, but Ayla has now been down the Leona ult, which makes Shopify a little bit more comfortable. I love this vision toggle by the observers to show how little information Shopify actually has and how dangerous it is for them to
Yeah, I
walk
don't know how to
into
check
this
my
break.
fucking
And this
TikTok
is a lot
stuff.
of times what I see from Shopify Rebellion. In game
I always
states like
hate
this,
this thing.
they just group up.
There needs
That is
to
the
be a
name of the
better
game.
way to
All
be
5
able
members
to
get together. No one's
read
pushing
your guys'
top. We have
stuff.
2 teleports up. We're not interested in that one. We're just going to force our way into the Banana Brush. Seos taking a lot of damage again. Curtain Call should be able to block a lot of that damage. Shopify Rebellion's jungler keeping Seos fine. Oh, net, the 4-shot does hit.
No.
Nautilus very low now. Weaver's Wall used. 100 Thieves still in fine position right now, so Palafox not really stopping anything with that one, and 100 Thieves will just
I
get
don't
the
know.
dragon.
Yeah, Shopify going to try and counter
I gotta
by getting
figure out
this
how to-
turret. They likely will,
How TikTok
but they got to
actually
be a
works
bit
better.
careful of Ayla
Service,
flying in there.
no.
Putting themselves on a soul point, though, 100 Thieves is going to be happy with this overall exchange.
Yeah, Infernal Soul as well. Very powerful one to pick up here for somebody like Neferi who just wants to jump in and one-shot people. You like Sniper as well in that side lane. It's going to be even
You guys
harder
know
to
how
deal
to
with.
read your
Here we go
comments?
again.
Because
River is
I'm
just
away
so
from the
low this
desktop.
time.
I don't know
Yeah.
how to read
That no one has touched
of
that top
the
wave
TikTok
in like
stuff.
5 minutes.
I don't think it even exists.
Any of you
in
guys
these
could put it
top laners'
down
minds,
in
solos'
the
minds,
comments.
anybody's minds. It's all about the objectives. It's all about the outcome.
Hey, hello.
Shopify Rebellion going in yet again. Seos dredge lines the wall a 3rd time here. Not punished immediately this time. Still alive.
I'm literally just using the TikTok app and I'm just trying to read.
Jumping into the Otacon pit. River there. But Otacon's getting low. Who's going to get it? It's Contracts. Shopify Rebellion with the steal as 100 Thieves.
There you
They
go.
can't chase down. They're not going to find
so it's
anything for
working
that.
now.
Contracts can just run away. High successful, but it's the Rebels that get it this time.
It's not a Baron steal, but it's an Otacon steal. Contracts the master of taking things away from underneath the enemy's nose. And that was River clearly
This
just
should be
running
the
the same
center.
play over and
Yep.
over again. But I think the difference here is 100 Thieves ended up actually getting caught in the pit this time, so they weren't that confident in the overall fight, had to pull off, and that's what allowed Contracts to go. Because the start of this was great. Sniper immuning the Nautilus hook, so Seos hooked the wall, seemed great, but ever 100 Thieves tries to walk through, the Otacon shreds them a good bit, and then Contracts' ultimate kind of zones River away, and since Otacon never fully reset, don't mind if I do, Contracts just secures it with the Q smite.
And you got to say, yeah, that Q, the empowered Q smite combo.
Alright.
Golden Blue thinking,
Where
okay,
is
what
my
happened there?
cutter?
The empowered Q plus smite, you
So
can't hold
I
that against
wanna-
River. You're not going to be able to out-smite that. It's just so much damage from the Pantheon.
it will be
Contracts knowing the limits of the champion and playing that one very well
here.
here. Now Otacon picked up, and the gold getting
here.
a little more in 100 Thieves' favor, but it still feels like a pretty dead even game, all things considered.
It does. I do feel like Quid is still a little bit inevitable, but he's gone for a very defensive build.
Yeah.
So not only does he have 2 big health items with the Roa and the Leandries, Seeker's Arm Guard, and the upgraded Mercury Treads into the Chainlance Crushers. So he's got massive amounts of MR, big MR shield, 2,923 health at this stage of the game. But he's actually not doing that much damage yet.
Yeah, half his gold spent is on defensive stats, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Health and resistances, but you're saying it inevitable. He will get to that point.
Yeah.
I imagine the death cap will be somewhere in this build, and still 10 stacks on the Dark Seal will help.
And I think because they have Soul Point, he's comfortable in this stage where he's thinking, let's just
David
make sure I don't get
Williams
one
stuff.
shot. The rest of the team will do well, because if they're diving in onto Quid, Sniper's still a big damage source who's done a decent enough job staying in this game for his 2 core items. So not criticizing Quid's build, just stating where it is in its current level of power.
And it changes the options that 100 Thieves really have available. It's very impressive that they've gotten 3 of the 4 dragons so far, considering the fact that their mid laner is going for a much more scaling defensive build so far. But I think a lot of that is credit to River and the Neferi champion. 3 items completed, a little bit ahead of Contracts right now. As that next dragon's up in a minute 40, but Baron's on the table right now. So you always need to keep your vision around this objective in case Shopify want to go for it. Find a little pick there. That could have been disastrous, but River's able to jump away.
Yeah, and there's just been so much grouping in this game. I know 100 Thieves typically has been the solo queue team, so to speak, as they might go for a fight in mid here.
Ooh, Sniper's just going to commit with the ultimate. Fudge slowed down, but not taken out. Now Sniper could be in some trouble, taking up a lot of damage himself, but Palafox rolling back! And it's B-Boy with the shutdown, but Quid on a killing spree will claim Seos. 1-for-1.
Are you guys' days going?
It almost looks like Sniper got a little bored there. He's like, I'm not split pushing, I'm just hanging out.
Him.
Victor and Jin are taking all my farm. I'm going to fight.
You know, let this Hunter gun heat up for a little bit.
That we've had. Didn't even get an assist on that one, too.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that engage by 100 Thieves, but it ends up working out for them for now. I just...
Oh,
everything all flies in.
Yeah, locks down immediately, but I don't think for very long. FBI trying to reposition here. River's now in on a B-Boy, but River might not have wanted that one. Shopify Rebellion not going to punish him. Instead, rooted up, and they're taking poke damage from Quid.
Yeah, Quid and FBI are starting to do a lot of damage. This is not the Mosquito Jin build. This is a Infinity Edge Jin with a Ghost Blade. So when he's, even now he's doing damage, but at 4 items, he's actually going to start shredding people. When Jin hits 4 or 5 items, he's a very threatening 80 carry. It's not like something that doesn't scale.
And there's nobody really building armor on the side of Shopify Rebellion as well, so you will be doing a lot of damage to these more bruiser and squishy champions.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think like where Shopify
they say use gloves.
would ideally be.
I'm
and they
an
just
idiot.
So few opportunities off of either Rumble Pressure or Talia roaming. I think the fact that Palafox getting hooked early.
Are you guys' days going? Hopefully you guys are doing something for Mother's Day too.
Up, but now no flash available for it means that Shopify Rebellion will start it off. Rivers just jumping in, and Dragon's down. Very fast Dragon pickup for Shopify Rebellion, denying the soul, and now they want more. Jumping on the Sniper.
Might be a mistake.
No flash available as he went for that exhaust. That was down 2. Seos caught away from the rest of the team, and he's out of there. River, flash away. That's 2 kills picked up by the Thieves, making it 3. B-Boy's able to jump away, but Fudge!
Who's winning?
Burns
10-10, 10-12.
out of the stasis, flashes the wall. He might just get
Sniper
out of
getting
there.
the kill.
100 Thieves trying to
Nice.
chase him, but Fudge will escape.
Phase rush at the last second.
When did I cut
and
myself?
A bit of a
What
heist there by Shopify, setting up on the Drake very early, preventing Ayla from making the approach and just bursting it. Surprised they went for the fight afterwards because they'd burned so much to just take the Drake in the first place. But crucially, they do stop
Look on the bright side. Look on the bright side. We're on pen. Just kill pen.
Look, Panther.
Yeah, I can hold.
Kill Nolus.
Watch the Fury guys.
They're awake.
Rumble on spot.